everything. As we are currently live right now, I pressed the wrong button at the wrong time, but we go live right now, David. And you know what? We just roll with the punches. Because sometimes you got fat fingers, and fat fingers are going to do what fat fingers are going to do.
Well, it just gives us more time to figure out what these fat fingers are supposed to do.
Exactly.
That's right.
So it looks like to me a trade was just made. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm getting caught up right here as we are doing a live draft special. We are live over here at Twin Peaks as I slowly start dying over here.
If you want, they have happy hour specials here up until 7 o'clock
Yes,
for the half hour.
You've got another 39 minutes to get down here and take advantage of the happy hour specials. I know that they've got some of the things that they're going to be doing for the NFL draft as well. Our guy Tommy Carranza already tuning in saying, Tip, you're late. Tommy, I am not joking with you one bit. As a matter of fact, I'll go over to my internet right now. That's the wrong browser. That's the wrong one I was looking for. How can we go back? There we go.
Settings, connections.
Yeah. We'll worry about all that stuff here in just a little bit. Jesus. But Tommy, I had looked it up, and I was told that the draft was going to start at 7 o'clock. I looked it up and said drafted at 7 o'clock. Cam Ward went number 1 overall. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm assuming, made a trade to move up to the number 2 spot.
Hey, this is the NFL. They can do whatever they want.
I was about to say, they start whenever the hell they wanted to start, but I looked it up. Nonetheless, we're good. I was wrong with my first pick, which means my first 2 picks are going to be wrong. I don't have any exactos right now so far.
Let me see if I can have them turn up ESPN a little bit if you want.
Okay, yes. It'll be turning up the NFL draft. Tommy Carranza saying the Browns robbed the Jaguars. Hey, that's the price of doing business, buddy. I wish I had seen what the trade was. I was trying to get everything here set up in the meantime. So, Tommy, if you can, get me queued in to see what the trade is going to be. Because I still have no clue at all. I turned, I looked, next thing I saw was number 2 pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Eric Armstead, the 2024 Walter Payton Man of the Year. He's a dreamy man of the year. It's going to be riveting stuff happening right now, David, as we sit back and watch. Look at that crowd. They had over 300,000 people show up in Green Bay, Wisconsin today for the NFL draft.
You think it was Woodstock?
Whenever I went to the draft in Vegas in 2022, they had over 750,000 people there.
Wow.
And obviously that's because Vegas can accommodate 750,000 people. It's not going to be easy to get 750,000 people in Green Bay, especially there in Wisconsin, or in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with that small area, small little city that they're in. I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah, the nice waitress said she was going to check if that was possible.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to hearing what happens over here. Travis Hunter going number 2 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cleveland gets a number 5, number 36, number 136. Next year's first, all to move down 3 spots. You know what? If I'm the Browns, I'm good with it. I'm good with it because, once again, you already know who I think is going to go at number 5. Okay? I think at number 5, now that Jacksonville is out of that position, it's going to be Mason Graham. And Mason Graham being a defensive lineman that can really do some good for Cleveland, I think, once again, that's how you build it. Or maybe even they go after some offensive linemen, right? Like, I wouldn't draft Josh Simmons that early. Look how happy Travis Hunter is skipping up and down that corridor right there as he makes his way to the stage. You'd figure they'd give him a shorter stage to walk, or a shorter corridor to walk through. That seemed like it was a good 50 yards.
I guess they were going for that locker room feel, going through the tunnel and onto the field.
Oh, yeah, no, the Jaguars got robbed. I agree 100%. They vastly overpaid for this pick. But if that's who you think you're going to get, if you really wanted to get Travis Hunter, then you're going to pay whatever it is that you're going to pay in order to get Travis Hunter. I wouldn't have done it. I don't think that's a good a good pick there. You know what? You're giving me something to think about over here, Tommy. As you say that there's a possibility they might draft Ashton Genty in that spot now, since they did lose Nick Chubb. You know what? There's always a possibility because he's not going to go at number 3. I did see a scenario where someone said, "What if the Giants were to draft Ashton Genty? What if the Giants were to draft Ashton Genty at number 3?" And I sat there and I thought to myself, no. I genuinely don't feel like there's a possibility of that happening right now. If you are live on Facebook, please go ahead and share. I'm trying to do all that stuff as I'm getting caught up, making sure everything looks good, everything sounds good. I'm assuming it all sounds good because Tommy would tell me if it didn't sound good. So, Tommy, thank you so much for tuning in over here. I know the camera doesn't look as good, but it's because I don't look good on camera anyway, guys. So you know what? The sun, the overexposed sun in the background really brings out the darkness in my beard. If you look at everything that's going on right now with the draft package that they have talking about Travis Hunter, now this is, again, if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, okay. If I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm excited about this pick because now you have a guy who can fill multiple positions. You have an offensive weapon that you can get for Trevor Lawrence. You have now a guy on defense. And if you are going to get rid of Jalen Ramsey, now you got someone that can step in and be that number 1 corner guy for you, a Heisman Trophy winning defensive player, one of the more dynamic offensive players. Like, to me, this is a huge pickup for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, again, I believe they overpaid. I'm with you on that one, Tommy. You don't give up a number 5 overall. You don't give up number 36 overall. You don't give up number 136 and a first-round draft pick next year to be in the position that you're in right now, to just move 3 spots. If I'm Cleveland, I don't mind Cleveland doing that at all. That seems like it would be a great move on their behalf because now you're getting draft capital. I'm also very surprised that I haven't heard anything about a trade from the Dallas Cowboys. Tommy Cananza going on to say it would shut Giants fans up about losing Saquon Barkley if they were to draft Ashton Genty right now at number 3. You have to go Abdul Carter, right? Like, you have to go Abdul Carter here. There's no way. Like, to me, there's no way, none at all, that you would draft Ashton Genty number 3 overall. It doesn't seem smart. But we shall see. They are the New York Football Giants, and smart is not something they do very well. I'm drinking my water, Dave. We're trying to stay hydrated.
There you go.
I did the research. I looked it up. It said 7 o'clock. So I thought, okay, we get here, we'll be fine. Maybe it was 7 o'clock Central Time is what I got mixed up on. Travis Hunter, everyone is going to compare him to being the next Deion Sanders. I don't know if I'm going to go that far right now. Like, let's let the kid do some good stuff first, and then we can maybe see about comparing him to Deion Sanders. I think you got to give him a little bit of time before you start comparing him to legends. There we go. Getting hydrated, guys. I'm sorry. You get to hear the nice high-pitched squeak as I sip my drink. Want to give a shout-out to my friend Ashley. You can check out her podcast, Talking About It with Ashley. She brought her family hanging out over here. I know my guy, Stephen Michael Puga, is going to be swinging on by here in just a little bit. The guys from the Buzz podcast are also going to be swinging by here in just a little bit as well. Cujo and Jules, maybe just Cujo. I think Cujo said it was going to be maybe just him. We got a random guy looking behind us. That was the first time we actually had someone walk behind us, Dave, and look over and see, like, what are these people doing?
Yeah, they're not familiar with the window of the world setup for a control room.
Exactly.
I guess more people have to watch the Today Show to know what I'm talking about.
I was actually surprised as the Giants take Abdul Carter, number 3 overall. Good pickup for them. You got to get some help on the defensive line. That's the way you build your team, is from the inside out. Abdul Carter, a dynamic pass rusher alongside Kayvon Thibodeau. That's going to be a huge addition for the New York Football Giants as they are doing their thing right now. Abdul Carter making his way down that long walk. I want to see how long it takes him here, Daver, to get this here. Everything is going good so far. Actually, Leslie, do you want to tell us about the specials as she walks away?
Let me see if I can get her.
Yes, thank you, Dave. Our guy, Dave Halpern, the most dynamic man in the business. I might have to move my table over in mid-action as I'm trying to get stuff done here on the tipping point with Mike Tipton. Abdul Carter, huge draft pick right there. Our guy, Tommy Cananza, saying, damn, that's a great pick for the New York Giants. That is a huge pick. Now, I got one so far. I'm 1 out of 3 on exact picks for me. I messed up by thinking that Travis Hunter would go number 1 overall. He didn't. He should have, but he didn't. Thank you, Dave. As we were doing the show here, a special edition of the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. They have happy hour from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. every single Monday through Friday. And then once again from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. If you're working those late night shifts, you can come swing by over here at Twin Peaks. Get yourself some of that happy hour specials that they've got going on. Once again, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then once again from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. They have their Peak signature beers. You can get 10 ounces for $2.99, 22 ounces for $3.99. $1 off all wine, liquor, and draft hand cocktails. $1 off of those as well during the happy hour check-in. Late night, they have late night deals here in this league. $8 flatbreads. That is Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. to close. A late night flatbread. Dave, how does that sound to you?
Sounds delicious.
Thank you, David, for looking up those, for getting that menu, getting those specials for me. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. Listen, we could take it one step further. Maybe we could, if you want, I could order a couple of specials and we can munch on camera if that turns you on. But that's your call.
If you get today, I'll get Saturday. How's that sound?
Works for me.
Okay, let's do that. Then whatever it is you want to get, then we'll be good on there. As on Saturday, we'll be live at Buffalo Wild Wings for Fire and Ice, Sans Ice. No ice this upcoming Saturday, as Brandon the Iceman Cone is currently in. Sounds like a plan, Dave. Is going to be in Lubbock for a UIL competition. Brandon the Iceman Cone doing his thing. Huge pickup right there here on day 1 of the NFL draft. Abdul Carter going number 3 overall. Number 1 so far was Cam Ward. Number 2, Travis Hunter, to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who gave up a ton, an absolute ton, to move up 3 spots. Again, if the Cleveland Browns, phenomenal job by them absolutely fleecing the Jacksonville Jaguars to just move up 3 spots. I wish I could have been in that war room to try to figure out like what was being said in that war room as it was happening in real time. Once again, we are live over here at Twin Peaks at the Fountains of Pharaoh, having ourselves a good old time here with the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. Live. We are currently on Facebook, on YouTube. Not on National Streaming Sports. But maybe, just maybe. Adding to a couple more positions as well. A channel is about to be changed. There we go. All of the channels now on the NFL draft. I get to see the fat, ugly face. The fat, ugly face of Jason Kelsey. Fat and ugly. I know she's not paying attention. I'm saying this specifically for her. We have a singular Eagles fan here. It's disgusting to have an Eagles fan here. In the middle of a commercial break right now for the NFL draft. Once again, Cam Ward going number 1 overall. Travis Hunter going number 2 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who gave up the number 5 pick, the number 36 pick, the number 136 pick, and a first-round draft pick for next year's NFL draft. Travis Hunter being drafted at number 2 overall. Abdul Carter going at number 3 overall. My guy Dave and I hanging out here having ourselves a good old time. Thank you, Dave. I know Thursday, us coming out here doing this stuff it's a little curveball that we threw at you today.
Oh, well, I left early enough, so I-10 wasn't that big of a problem. And now that it's later in the day, I-10 should be even less of a problem.
Yes, by the time it's ready for you to go home, I-10 will be hopefully less of a problem.
There you go.
If not, then there's going to be some major issue going on I-10.
You know, you're in El Paso when your phone says, in spite of all the traffic, this is still the best way to go.
In spite of the traffic, the construction, everything else like that, this is going to be the best way, the fastest way for you to get to where it is that you want to be.
That's it.
Did you see George Clooney's bad dye job? Apparently he has like a very black hair now for George Clooney.
Somebody stole an espresso machine and he had nothing else to use.
Apparently he's doing it because he's playing the role of Edward R. Murrow.
Well, okay. I can believe it. His dad is a famous weather person.
Ah.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
No, yeah, in the Plaza Film Festival, when he was trying to talk about his son, he kept saying, please, why can't we talk about me?
Just for once, let it be me.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. The dad gets to have the shine up until the son gets famous, and then you have to just pass it on.
That's right.
Looks like we're about to come back here to the NFL draft. Remember, we are live over here at Twin Peaks at the Fountains at Farrah. Shout out to them for actually hosting us, being gracious enough for us to be out over here. I feel bad that I gave people bad information that things were going to start at 7 o'clock. Nonetheless, David, we survive and we advance.
Yeah. Maybe we should be involved in the pick, and we'll have to stroll that long hallway onto the field.
Oh,
okay.
I think that's a cool thing, too, is that they're doing it at the football stadium because apparently, there's not a lot of places in Green Bay that they could have done it at. Right. So it has to be at the football stadium. You have a ton of people in the crowd, just in the parking lots and a bunch of stuff like that. I could only imagine what hotel rooms and stuff like that were going for over there in Green Bay. It had to have been a nightmare trying to get any type of lodging because, again, it's the smallest city to have an NFL franchise.
And at least the stadium has the needed tech support. You're not going to find that in a hotel conference room.
No, definitely not at all. Unless it was like Radio City Music Hall or something like that. But even Radio City's not in a hotel.
No, it's not.
The next pick in the draft, it seems like the New England Patriots are up. And they went with Will Campbell out of LSU. That was kind of a given. Another one that I got right here. So now I've got two. I'm two of four on exact picks. The Patriots getting who they needed. The Giants getting Abdul Carter. That was a fresh dap right there from Will Campbell. The outfit, though, David, I'm not feeling the outfit.
Well, the outfit looks more like the field itself than the person wearing it.
You can, just by looking at him, and this is maybe me being a jerk, that doesn't look like a first-round draft pick offensive tackle, right? But you can tell by looking at the game film, he's a tough dude to move around. He's just going to be a big, beefy man pushing around other big, beefy men.
Well, that's why they come into these stadiums, to watch big, beefy men.
There you go. The bigger, the better, as far as the beefy men go. But Will Campbell, if you look at what he did at LSU, he was doing a fantastic job there protecting the quarterback. And that's what you need if you're the New England Patriots right now. You need someone that can protect Drake May, a young guy who isn't going to have a whole ton of weapons, and he has to be able to learn the speed of the game. So if you give him just a couple of milliseconds more, that's what that can make a huge difference. And having a guy like Will Campbell there, being able to open up for the run game, being able to pass block and do all the stuff that he's able to do, that right there is a huge pickup for the New England Patriots. Huge for them. The Cleveland Browns are on the clock right now. They got 7.5 minutes to get their pick in. The Browns, you might be asking if you came in a little bit late, as Tommy Cananza's asking, who did the Patriots pick? The Patriots picked Will Campbell, the offensive lineman. That's a huge pickup. We were talking about that earlier today on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. That's going to be a huge pickup for the New England Patriots simply because it's protecting your most valuable asset, which is the quarterback. And you knew that he was going to be the guy for the New England Patriots from day one. They actually have the jersey and everything like that ready for him. I was just asked right now very nicely if I was going to buy Daver a rose. I'm sorry, Daver, that I didn't buy you a rose this time.
Yeah, it's one less thing to take care of. Don't worry about it.
Have you ever bought a rose at a bar?
No, I haven't.
I would love to know the people that have. Like who's actually gone out like in a sustained relationship, I guess, and bought a rose from someone at the bar.
Probably a husband or a boyfriend that forgot about an anniversary until the last minute and said, look at what I planned.
If you bring your spouse or significant other to Twin Peaks on their anniversary, they must either A, really love Twin Peaks, or B, you forgot. And I don't think a single rose is going to make up for that.
No, I guess not. Oh, we're men. We still have a lot to learn about women. There you go.
Yes, we go. Tommy Cananza saying, I have bought the $20 rose, did the face palm emoji and everything. Now I've got to know. Now I've got to ask BJ. Can you get his attention, please?
Mr. BJ, can you come over to the broadcast table? We have a question for you.
Just real quick. Okay. Have you ever bought a rose at a bar? Like we just saw the guy right now. Have you ever bought a rose at a bar? If only there was a place that you could talk that I'd be able to hear you.
Yeah, just come on over to the table. We have a spare set for you.
You don't even have to get on camera. You can just hang out over here in front of it as we're trying to figure all this out.
Here you go. We promise we'll only ask the important question.
Yes. Okay, so you guys were talking about it. Have you ever bought a rose at a bar?
Several.
Several?
Yeah.
Were you in trouble? Because that's the only way that I can imagine someone buying a rose at a bar is you were in trouble, or there were copious amounts of alcohol that were consumed.
There was copious amounts of alcohol, and I was trying to get lucky.
How long ago was the last time?
Ooh.
You're going to tell me like a week and a half ago, aren't you?
Oh, hell no.
Was it early in the relationship?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So definitely early in the relationship, not something that you've done recently.
No.
No. Okay. You're a Dallas Cowboys fan. Who do you want the Dallas Cowboys to take at 12?
We have so many needs, and there's no telling what this team's going to do when it comes to picking. So I'm guessing if there's a big name player, that's what they're going to go for. We need a good defensive tackle because I don't know about Mozzie, but
Yeah, Mozzie ain't the guy.
and CD needs some help. So hopefully, there's a good wide receiver available. Running backs, I have no idea what they're doing with the running backs.
How mad would you be if the Dallas Cowboys traded out of this spot and just didn't have a first-round pick?
If they got more second-round picks, that's not a bad thing. So
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, BJ. I appreciate it. Tommy Cananza was telling us that he the last time he bought one. Okay, let's see who the pick was here from the Cleveland Browns. They got Mason Graham, exactly who I said they were going to get. I should have had that. Man, I'm mad at myself for moving Mason Graham out of it. Mason Graham being the number 5th overall pick. That's a nicer outfit than what we had just seen earlier. The green and white pinstripe suit was not it, in my opinion. Mason Graham, the defensive lineman, that's a huge pickup for the Cleveland Browns. I know huge and pickup for the Cleveland Browns are not normally two things you put together, but you're talking about a massive man, 6'3.5", 300 pounds almost, the anchor of that defense for Michigan, and that was their calling card. Look at that, the patience that he has disrupting the play right off the bat. You team that up with Myles Garrett now in Cleveland, and you are working where what you got to do is get pressure on the quarterback. That's a huge pickup for the Cleveland Browns. Mason Graham, the defensive lineman there, defensive tackle. Look at that. And then he's just got a motor that keeps on going. The Browns, to me, so far, getting the additional draft capital, being able to get a guy like Mason Graham off of that trade that they made for Travis Hunter. Now, I get it. Travis Hunter could have sold a ton of jerseys. Travis Hunter could be the type of guy that, he's exciting, but if he's going to play both ways, there's going to be durability questions. Is he going to be able to last a full season in the NFL, et cetera, et cetera? Being able to get a guy like Mason Graham, being able to get the draft capital that you got, as of right now, the Cleveland Browns are winning the NFL draft, and that's a crazy thing for those words to have come out of my mouth.
Well, they had obviously had more room in their cap, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing with them is they've got a set amount of money that they can spend on these guys that they have to have in their salary cap. For those that don't know, and it already looks like the crowd is thinning out. As weird as that, it doesn't look the same way it did 20 minutes ago.
Maybe they're going off to the refreshment stand if there is one.
I mean, there has to be. There better be. I'm just going to say that there better be. But that's a huge pickup by the Cleveland Browns. An absolute huge pickup. Tommy Cananza agreeing with us. Graham is a great pick, especially considering the haul they got to move off of number 2. Being able to get those draft picks. Now it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the number 36 overall pick. I've got to look up. I believe that they're drafting number 34 as well. So let me look that up. Where are the Cleveland Browns? I'm on a different computer where I haven't looked up a whole bunch of stuff here. Okay, there we go. There it is. The full draft order. The Cleveland Browns are going to be drafting at number 33. So they're going to be drafting at 33 and 36. That is huge for them. You're going to get such an influx of talent off of those guys because you've got, fringe first-round guys that you're going to be getting at 33 and at 36. That's huge, a huge pickup by the Cleveland Browns to be able to pull this off. Now, obviously, we got to wait till tomorrow to see how this pans out for the Cleveland Browns. Next up on the clock right now are the New York Football Jets. What are the Jets going to do in this position right now? Want to give a shout out to Anthony Calderon, who's tuned in right now, Karina Pradas and Santana, who's tuned in right now. Thank you all so much for being a part of today's show. Our special draft coverage, our watch party with the NFL draft. Oh, number 6 is the Raiders. I jumped the gun. Number 6 is the Raiders. They got the pick in. I have Shedeur Sanders going right here, number 6 overall, to the Las Vegas Raiders, the second best quarterback here. The Raiders can use a quarterback, but I also would not be surprised if Ashton Jeanty, the running back out of Boise State, winds up being the pick here for the Las Vegas Raiders. And they drafted Ashton Jeanty, did the Las Vegas Raiders. Throwing a curveball in all the plans I had earlier today, Tommy. All the plans I had earlier today as I see some other people tuned in. If you watched the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton so far today now, we are 2 of 6 on correct picks. Most of that because of a trade, but it's okay. We will be all right. Tommy Cananza upset about the Ashton Jeanty pick here, going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Ashton Jeanty was a guy that Dallas Cowboys fans had their heart set on here at running back. So maybe the Cowboys move back and they're able to draft Omarion Thompson or Omarion Hampton, rather. You can see right here, looking at Ashton Jeanty running the ball. Not a lot of top-end speed, but he's hard to bring down. And that's what you need out of your running back position. Look at that. Patience to be able to get out of the run, breaking tackles left and right as they show him reaching towards the end zone here. The Las Vegas Raiders, older quarterback in Geno Smith, older head coach in Pete Carroll. Now you've got something working with you here. You get a young running back. A lot of questions are going to be out there. Why would you draft a running back this early in the draft? Because you could probably get a decent running back not too far off of Ashton Jeanty's production in the later rounds. That's a long walk. I'm going to harp on this for a while. That's a long walk to get out to the stage. You can see, that's what I love, Daver, about the NFL draft, is you're watching kids' dreams come true.
That you are.
And you can see, like, just the way that he was skipping up and down the hall right there, the way that Travis Hunter was dancing up and down the hall right there in his pink suit, just how happy they are to be in this position.
And the NFL doesn't make it easy when they screen people for possible picks. They go through the ringer.
Exactly. And the combine, everything that you have to get measured at the combine, how big are your hands, how smart are you, et cetera, et cetera. It's always a tough thing to deal through. Sorry.
And no, that's okay. And so the elation is mixed in with a sense of relief.
Oh, it has to be. The oh God, it's finally over. We're here.
That's it.
But that's also the beginning because the hard work starts setting in right here. Now, the comp that they have here on the NFL Network for Ashton Jeanty is Dallas Cowboys great Emmitt Smith. Saying you get contact and you burst through the contact. And that's what would have made Dallas Cowboys fans happy, being able to say, we've got this guy. Again, we've got our Emmitt Smith back. One more time, the Crooked Commish, the Chicago Clubhouse Network, giving us a little bit of love, saying, what's good, Money Mike? What's good with y'all over there as well? Thank you so much for tuning in to our draft watch party. Emmitt Smith taking it to the house. That's also the same quality video of watching the last time the Dallas Cowboys were good.
How many years ago was that?
Oh,
I lost count.
30.
Never mind.
It'll be 30. I was 11 years old the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Oh, man, that's going to bring up a lot of trauma, Dave.
Oh, well.
Ashton Jeanty now looking dapper in his Las Vegas Raiders hat. To recap what we've had so far in the NFL draft, at number 1, you had Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami, going over to the Tennessee Titans. You already know my thought on that. I don't think that's much of a difference between him and Will Levis, but whatever. I'm not the one making the pick. Number 2, the Jacksonville Jaguars traded a 5, 36, number 136 as well, along with a first-round draft pick in next year's draft to the Cleveland Browns to draft Travis Hunter at number 2 overall. Number 3 overall was Abdul Carter out of Penn State going over to the New York Giants. At number 4, Will Campbell, the offensive lineman, being drafted by the New England Patriots. At number 5, where the Jaguars were supposed to pick, is the Cleveland Browns' first draft pick, and they drafted Mason Graham, defensive lineman out of Michigan, to help them out along that defensive line. A huge pickup for the Cleveland Browns. Then right now at number 6, you had the Las Vegas Raiders draft Ashton Jeanty, the most coveted running back in the NFL draft this year, taking him off the board, breaking the hearts of Dallas Cowboys fans everywhere who are hopeful against all hope that maybe, just maybe, he would slide. Ashton Jeanty would slide all the way down to number 12 for the Dallas Cowboys. In my mock draft, I had Ashton Jeanty being drafted number 11 overall to the San Francisco 49ers. I gave you those top 6 picks. Now juxtapose those to what my picks were. Number 1, I had Travis Hunter going. Got that wrong. Number 2, I had Cleveland drafting Cam Ward. Got that wrong. Number 3, I had the Giants drafting Abdul Carter. Got that one right. Number 4, I had the Patriots drafting Will Campbell. Got that one right. Number 5, I had the Jaguars taking Tet McMillan. At that position right there, the Jaguars traded out of it. Cleveland drafts Mason Graham out of Michigan. Got that one wrong. And then number 6, I had Shedeur Sanders going over to the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Las Vegas Raiders make me wrong again. I'm batting .333 now, guys. .333.
In baseball, that would be a terrific batting average.
There we go. I'm a Hall of Famer in baseball.
There you go.
But right now in the NFL draft, that is not the clip I wanted to be at, Dave.
Oh, well, at least it wasn't your money.
There we go. I did put a $5 bet on BetUS that Travis Hunter would be the number 1 overall pick. $5 would have gotten me $250. So I don't mind losing the $5 there. But man, that was the only pick I made in the draft, and I got that one wrong.
Oh, well.
C'est la vie.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get over it.
I was over it the second I saw it.
That's it.
There's Cam Ward. I mean, there's nothing else I can do about it.
Right.
Pound ain't going to help me out.
No.
Shout out to the people that have tuned in over on the various social media channels as well.
And even if you don't have all of the social media channels on your phone, if you got Facebook and you're hooked up to Robert Michael Tipton, you'll find us fast.
Yes. Make sure you follow the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, also the Tipton Sports Broadcasting Network. Get alerts whenever we go live, or if you're over on YouTube, subscribe as well. I appreciate the subscriptions. I've gone up in subscriptions. I've doubled the amount of subscriptions, which isn't hard to do whenever you start at 2, Dave. The New York Jets, the pick is in for the New York Jets that are drafting here over number 7 overall. And the Jets drafted Armand Membo out of Missouri, the defensive tackle. Again, the Jets going with defensive line help here. I've got to get, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure I have my banner here so I can see where I had Armand Membo going. I thought I had him going number 6 overall. Now I think about it, to the or number 5 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So another one that I've gotten wrong so far. I had the Jets taking Mason Graham. So if I would have switched them across, I might have had it going. Now we're batting 290. Still close to Hall of Fame. Still close to the Hall of Fame. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Can you bring us a couple of forks?
Look at that. We got some food that we're going to be munching on here. Daver, what did you order for us?
I ordered the $7 boneless wing special, and I went with the buffalo choice.
There we go. The $7 boneless wing special. Thank you so much for that, Daver. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Tommy Cananza shouting out Team YouTube, saying that he was the first sub. He was. He was one of the very first subs that we had here on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. Tommy Cananza has been supporting the wild stuff that I've done since day one, going all the way back to my 600 ESPN El Paso days, producing a regular basis of El Paso Chihuahuas games and UTEP Miners football basketball games as well. Tommy Cananza saying I got all the players right. At least I got names right. I've got all the names right so far, but I'm not taking credit on that. I am not going to take credit on that. I've got 2 exactos. I am going to take a bite of this. I'm going to do play-by-play on food, Dave.
There you go.
I got the boneless wings here. Thanks to Dave, the $7 boneless special. You can see that right there. Got the ranch on it. The buffalo sauce dripping off of it. Nothing sexier than a fat guy eating on camera.
And the reminder that if you were to have gotten here before 7 o'clock, you would have gotten the $7 price on it.
There you go. You got to get here before 7. 1 more minute left. Maybe you can go back and stop time. The Carolina Panthers have their pick in. And for some reason, the NFL Network went to a commercial. As it said, the Panthers got their pick in. That's production value for you. They're saying this show has to last X amount of time.
Yeah.
We got sponsors that we need to make happy.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Cananza saying boneless wings are not wings, Mike. Wow. They are wings to me. Just like wrestling is real to me, these are wings to me. I don't care if they're boneless, if they're bone-in, as long as it's chicken. And sometimes I don't even care if it's actually chicken. It could be rat for all I care. As long as it tastes good, that's all that matters to me. But Tommy, since I'm doing a show, it makes it cleaner for me to eat. You get to see the big fat lefty, the weird way that I hold a fork. You get to see all that stuff happening right here in front of you. I don't like eating in front of people, but I am starving right now, and David read my mind, and there was no way in hell, none, that I was going to let these wings, or chicken nuggets as Tommy is calling them, there was no way I was going to let my nuggies go cold.
There you go. And the reason we had to do it during this show is if you're an avid fan of Fire and Ice, you know that when we end our show at 1 o'clock, that's when we break for lunch. But this draft has the potential of being a 3.5 hour show. And so your body doesn't really give you too much of a choice.
No, not at all. And David, of course, you don't have to stay the whole 3.5 hours. I know you've got things you need to do. You've got early morning workouts and things like that.
Yeah, since retirement, I feel more like a professional athlete because I spend 3 hours a day at the gym. It's kind of neat. And it gives me a little perspective of what these professional athletes go through in order to maintain a workout.
And that's the main thing right there, the workout that they have to do. And Tommy, I'm perfectly fine with these being considered chicken nuggets. I'm a big kid at heart. Like, if you guys haven't figured that out yet, I don't think you ever will. I'm a Toys R Us kid, Dave, I'm never going to grow up.
That's it.
And before someone comes at me, I know that's not how the song goes. Also, the best part about this not being a full-on sports show is that we can actually have a little bit of the silence.
Mm-hmm.
The radio guy in me still hates. I have the countdown, the clock in my head. I'll get it to 8 seconds. I'll never do 10 seconds of silence.
But baseball allows for that silence, and often you hear that when Tim Haggerty covers the Chihuahuas for KROD.
Yes. A masterful job that Tim Haggerty does.
He does.
And that's also the best thing about baseball is you get to hear the crowd noise. You get to hear everything that's out there with it.
Mm-hmm.
I like baseball on the radio more than I like baseball on TV.
See, yep, that's how I feel.
And you're an old radio guy, right, Dave? Like, you've been in radio for how long now?
Oh, my God. Over 40 years.
Oh, wow.
Well, because I'm almost almost 70 years old. And so I got into radio part-time when I was in my teens. And I got to retire about 2 years ago. Yeah.
The Carolina Panthers have their pick in right now. The 8th pick in the NFL draft. And they got a great pick there. They got Ted McMillan, who I had the Panthers picking right now. So we're 3 of 8. We're moving on up, Daver. We are moving on up.
To the east side. Hey, Weezy. So did you rip me while I watching the draft?
Ted McMillan, a big body wide receiver. If you got a young quarterback in Bryce Young, you need to have yourself that security blanket, possession style wide receiver. And that's who they have now, with Ted McMillan being their number 1 first-round draft pick they made in this 2025 NFL draft. That's a huge pickup. If you saw what he did at Arizona, you would understand. Amazing athletic ability. The one knock that you can have on this kid is the fact that he admitted that he doesn't watch football and he doesn't watch game film. That's going to have to change in the NFL. I'm sure that will change with maturity, but that would be a bit of a red flag. I don't care too much about football.
Oh, look at how much respect Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have for each other. Mm-hmm. Even though they couldn't get the three-peat, they bonded over having meals while they were nerding out on football and watching films, at which point Andy Reid said, hey, Mahomes is the guy. That's how he knew. Now all Kansas City has to do is build up both sides of the offensive line so that Mahomes can actually do something.
You can watch all the film, you can have all the talents in the world, but if you're laying on your butt, you're not going to do any good.
That's it.
And that's a huge pickup for the Carolina Panthers. I know I said the word huge a couple of times already here.
Football is a huge sport.
It is. But having a receiver like that, a guy that has all the athletic ability in the world, being able to have that guy on your team as a safety blanket for
Thank you.
I'm trying not to talk over. I should just do it. I don't understand why I'm trying to be like, no, I can't say. May I have some water, please?
Oh, I'll get us a refill.
No. She got us.
Oh,
She got
great.
us. Yes.
Good.
But Ted McMillan, once again, a big body wide receiver, a safety blanket that you have for your young quarterback. That's a huge pickup for the Carolina Panthers. Armand Membo going to the Jets. I'm not 100% sold on it right now. It's a solid pickup. I'm not going to say it's a huge pickup. I think there's only been maybe two, I'll say three. 3 out of the 8 have been huge pickups. I don't think Cam Ward is much of an improvement over Will Levis in Tennessee. I feel like the Titans could have done more by drafting Travis Hunter. Instead, they succumbed to the pressure of you got to draft the quarterback number 1 overall. I get it; it's a thing now in the NFL, but it doesn't seem like it's a smart decision there. Tommy Cananza saying Ted McMillan and Ashton Genty are gone. FML from a Dallas Cowboys fan, and then saying that Ted McMillan reminds him of Mike Evans. Exactly. All the tools, all the physical ability that you can ask and wish for.
So here's the thing: when are the Cowboys going to start requesting, picks? Are they going to do the Jerry Jones approach of waiting till the last minute until they're absolutely sure?
Well, we're still 4 picks away from where the Dallas Cowboys pick at.
Oh, okay.
The thing is Jerry Jones said that they were going to make substantive moves for this NFL draft, and they haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
I was thinking that they would make some sort of move to help out their offense, like trade bait, right? Like you got to go out there and make some sort of trade that it would have been announced by now.
And that hasn't happened yet.
No, not at all. As the Saints have their pick in right now, this is where most people have Shedeur Sanders going to the New Orleans Saints. I would be shocked, since he's still on the board, if Shedeur Sanders doesn't go to the New Orleans Saints. Their pick is in. You see their war room standing up.
Yeah, I see it.
They look like they're excited for their pick to be announced. Mickey Loomis, the GM of the New Orleans Saints. I actually know his sister-in-law. I worked with her whenever I lived in Alaska.
What did you do for her?
We were up there. I was a contractor.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was kind of doing stuff with the Air Force lodging area up in Elmendorf, Richardson. And she was in charge of one of the maintenance crews and things like that up there. I used to do logistics. That's where I had my teeth cut.
Yeah, figuring out how to get some vehicle from point A to point B with the least amount of trouble.
Yeah. The New Orleans Saints throwing a curveball to everybody here. So that basically means that Shedeur Sanders is either going to be drafted number 21 overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers, so Pittsburgh doesn't have to make a move at all. Maybe, just maybe, Seattle will draft him, Shedeur Sanders at 18, but they just paid $100 million to Sam Darnold. It doesn't seem like it'd be a good idea to spend an additional draft pick on a quarterback, but we've seen it done before. We saw last year the Atlanta Falcons. They signed Kirk Cousins to a huge contract, ton of guaranteed money. And what do they do with their first-round pick? They drafted Michael Penix Jr.
Huh.
At quarterback. They got themselves a quarterback halfway through the year. They just tell Kirk Cousins, Kurt Cobain, you can go do your thing. We don't need you no more. Put him on the bench, had Michael Penix Jr. take over for him. Now Kirk Cousins, I'm surprised that we haven't seen his name linked in more trade rumors.
$100,000. Where are they getting this money?
$100 million.
Million. Sorry about
million. And that's because the NFL is a business. Once again, I hate to be that guy that tells people that, the NFL, it's all fun and game. No, it's not. It's a business. This made-for-TV spectacle that we're looking at right now. Kelvin Banks Jr., the offensive tackle out of Texas, one of the best offensive linemen that are in the NFL draft. That's a huge, well, I wouldn't say huge. It's a good pickup. That's a good pickup for the New Orleans Saints. They're able to address some offensive line issues. The thing with the New Orleans Saints is that they have so many more problems than quarterback, than offensive line, than defensive line. That's a team that has more holes than Swiss cheese. But again, I love seeing this because you see the emotion. Someone getting to live out their dream, the dream coming true. As he is now Kelvin Banks Jr., as he is now a New Orleans Saint. What is this? Oh, Laura Rutledge and Colleen Wolfe from ESPN.
Okay. Have you worked with either of them, Mike?
I did work with Laura Rutledge. She was signed on first as an NFL analyst. Whenever I was working at ESPN, she would come on ESPN radio a lot. We also did the football games on Sunday. We would broadcast football games, and she would be in there. She'd be our analyst with that as well. We had a recap show. Laura Rutledge knows her football. So they're announcing the schedule release of the NFL's 2025 season. They're mentioning Thanksgiving Day. We know two teams that are guaranteed to play on Thanksgiving Day.
One's the Cowboys, right?
The other one is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions actually started the tradition back in the 1930s of playing on Thanksgiving Day. The Dallas Cowboys didn't begin it until 1972.
Interesting.
But, I mean, for 53 years, they've been playing that game. Also, the debut of the Dallas Cowboys playing on Thanksgiving Day is closer to their last Super Bowl than today is to their last
brother.
Super Bowl. I hate that I love that team.
Well, hopefully they can outsmart themselves in the picks. If 5 out of the 7 picks surprised you so far, maybe the Dallas Cowboys will come up with a surprise. You never know.
I put nothing past the Dallas Cowboys anymore. I don't get too high on them. I don't get too low on them. Whatever they do is going to do whatever it is that they do.
Yep. That's the only way you can look at it.
So we have 3 out of 9 right now. We're back to batting 333.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here at number 10. Well, I got number 10 wrong anyway, so I'm batting 300 because I had Kelvin Banks going to the Chicago Bears. They're not going to take a quarterback here, so I think they're going to go – I could see them doing a wide receiver. Matthew Golden would be a good spot right here. The Bears doing a classy thing here, honoring Steve McMichael, who passed away earlier today from ALS, a member of their 1986 World Championship team, or 85 championship team, rather. Former wrestler in WCW as well. That's how I learned of him. Steve Mongo McMichael. The NFL draft is doing the 50th anniversary of Walter Payton's NFL draft selection, going back to 1975. when Sweetness was drafted. That's one of the cool things I like about the NFL. A lot of history.
Yep.
The Bears selection getting booed by the crowd in Green Bay. The fierce rivalry. And they drafted a tight end, Colston Loveland. That was not who most people had as the first tight end off the board. Most people thought that it would be Tyler Warren out of Penn State, but instead it's Colston Loveland. I did have Colston Loveland as a first-round pick. I did not have him at number 10 overall, but it makes sense. Once again, you have a young quarterback. You need a security blanket at tight end, someone that you can trust that's going to catch the ball for you left and right. And that's maybe what the Chicago Bears are expecting to get out of Colston Loveland. Again, Tyler Warren being on the board makes you think that maybe, just maybe, there was something. Maybe it's the connection of Chicago being close to Michigan as opposed to Pennsylvania. But, man, Tommy Canazza saying, wow, that's a reach. I agree with you, especially with Tyler Warren still on the board. Like, it was consensus that Tyler Warren was the best tight end in this NFL draft. So for him to have been looked over, that can wind up being a huge swing and a miss. I would like to see what the Crooked Commish thinks about that. As Tommy Canazza asks the question over to him out of Chicago. But that is definitely a reach for Colston Loveland. Number 10 overall to the Chicago Bears. Man. I'm batting 300. I love the crew of people around me. And it's so strange to me because I already have Cole Kmet. They already have Cole Kmet. I don't understand that pick. I genuinely do not understand that pick right there. The Crooked Commish saying, wow, I am shocked. To say the least. Again, like I don't understand that pick. Like, are you planning on moving away from Cole Kmet? I believe he's still under contract for another year or two. That one's a weird one for me, guys. I don't understand that one. Oh well. That is such a strange one. What shocks you the most about that, Crooked Commish, if I may ask that question? To skip over Tyler Warren, interesting for sure. He's the best receiving tight end. He put best receiving YE, but we know it meant tight end. You don't have to worry about it. I know you've probably been hitting the sauce right now. But that is such a strange one. Such a strange one. You already, again, am I missing something? Is Cole Kmet gone? We finally have our first big question mark of the day. The what the hell is this team doing pick of the day. And the Bears were having such a great offseason, too. I don't think it's just your opinion, Tommy. I think everyone would say that Tyler Warren is the best tight end in this NFL draft. So for him to have gotten looked over and just bypassed, it's that's so strange. And if 5 years from now, 10 years from now, Tyler Warren is the guy that everyone projected him to be, and Colston Loveland is the guy that everyone projected him to be, Tyler Warren's still going to have the better career. Like you would have to sit back and question this decision. And it's a decision that can be questioned year after year after year. Especially, God forbid, that Tyler Warren falls to like Minnesota or to Detroit or someone like that. Like it would be, man, that would be devastating. Now, again, I did have Colson Loveland as a first-round pick, but I had him later in the draft. I believed he was going to go 24th or 25th. Tommy Canazza saying, I thought Loveland was a late second-round pick for sure. That is wild. Going over some of the picks now, as I see that the San Francisco 49ers have their pick in, I'll recap the picks here in just a little bit. The 49ers pick is in. Shedeur Sanders still waiting to be drafted. I still don't see a scenario where Shedeur Sanders gets drafted in this early in the draft. There is a possibility that he gets drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers later in the draft.
I saw Dak Prescott is eligible as a pick. And here's my question: has he fully recovered yet?
No, so what they were showing right there, David, was the quarterbacks that are on teams that were drafting in that position. So those were all the active quarterbacks on that position. Dak Prescott is, for all intents and purposes, healthy.
Oh, good.
Tony Canazza saying, all the guys I really wanted are gone. I hope the boys trade back. I'm telling you, I think they're going defense. I would not be surprised if they go defense here. Shout out to Mireya Reyes, who's tuned into the show right now as well. Thank you so much for being a part of today's show. Green Bay Packers will be drafting here in just a little bit. Roger Goodell trying to get the crowd in Green Bay to chant. They were chanting USA. The guy that I wanted the Dallas Cowboys to take, they are not going to be able to get. Mykel Williams, drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. This is a big pickup for them. Defensive, you need help on the defensive line. That's really going to help them out. I would not be surprised if Jalen Walker goes next to the Dallas Cowboys, maybe even Jahad Campbell to the Dallas Cowboys, as now the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. They've got a minute and a half to make this pick for the Dallas Cowboys, as Mykel Williams was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. That, once again, a solid pickup, a big pickup for them. If he was drafted by the Cowboys, it would have been huge. But instead, he was drafted by the 49ers. No one cares about the 49ers. They have a terrible fan base. Everything about them is terrible. I wish nothing but bad things upon them.
And here's the thing that I've come to expect from the Cowboys. As sluggish as they are in settling a salary dispute, they're just as sluggish to pull the trigger. That's why they're missing out.
Well, that's unfortunately for them, they can't draft ahead of whenever they're selected to be at. So the other teams have to pick ahead of them no matter what.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So unfortunately for them, they're kind of stuck in their spot.
That's the hand they were dealt with. Got it.
Exactly. And the pick is in right now for the Dallas Cowboys, as NFL TV is showing the Mykel Williams package. Like the plays that he did on defense that's a big punch to my gut because I was hoping that he would be there at 13 for the Cowboys, going or 12 to the Cowboys, going 11 overall to the San Francisco 49ers. It's just right there. He was right there for the Dallas Cowboys.
So here's my question: who actually sets the order of which teams get to pick first?
The order is set by how bad your season was.
Oh, got it.
And then if you have trades and move around in that one, then that's what can, kind of change the order of it. The San Francisco 49ers were just slightly worse than the Dallas Cowboys, who were, as we both know, absolute dog shit all season.
Okay.
I always get one where I can get to say something negative about the Dallas Cowboys, and that was my one. Now I've got to be optimistic. As the Cowboys, their pick is in. That beautiful star shining up on the TV.
And now we have to see just who they chose.
If this is a bad pick, I'm ending the live.
Oh, well, more of a day for you.
Exactly. America's team has the pick in.
What can you tell us about Tyler Booker? And I hear from the deep breathing that you're not that happy.
They had so much more that they needed to address for the Dallas Cowboys. Like going offensive line, like obviously you build your team from the inside out. Like I'm not angry at that pick. As a dad, I get to say this a lot. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. And I think that that's what it is. And I'm disappointed in this pick from the Dallas Cowboys. Like, even if you were going to go offensive line, you could have gotten like an offensive tackle. But instead you went guard. And you have a decent amount of talent at your guard position for the Dallas Cowboys. So for me, it's a nice pick. I'm glad for him. Like, you can see how happy he is. I'm glad that he's happy to be a Dallas Cowboy.
But what you're saying is the Dallas Cowboys just wasted a resource.
I don't want to say wasted, but it feels that way.
In other words, their priorities were a little out of line. Okay.
And that's what the Dallas Cowboys do. Right? Like, that's something that we can get used to the Dallas Cowboys doing from time to time. Tommy Canonzo upset about it too, saying they chose an effing guard. I guess it's not a terrible pick. Like I don't want it to come off that way that I think that the Dallas Cowboys drafting offensive line help is a terrible pick. It's just not the pick that I wanted the Dallas Cowboys to do. I wanted them to focus in on that defensive line, especially because that defense was Swiss cheese all of last season. Their Achilles heel has been, not being able to stop the run. So even if they had gotten an interior defensive lineman, like if they had gone after Gray Zabel, I would have been happy. Or actually, he was an offensive lineman too. If there's so much more. Walter Nolan, like if they had gone after someone like that, I would have been a little more excited. I get it. It's not a sexy pick. I don't expect a lot of sexy picks out of the Dallas Cowboys. You can see that Booker creates space, but it feels like that was a reach. Like, I don't think that Booker would have I don't think that he was necessarily not going to be available to the Dallas Cowboys in the second round. So for me, it just feels like a reach. Tommy Canonzo saying, we don't need a guard. Shake my effing head. At least not one at pick 12. Also going on to say, at least draft a tackle. Move way back to get the damn guard. Like they could have done something different here. Like I really like if they were going to make a stretch like that for a guard, I would have preferred them to draft Omarion Hampton or someone available like that. I think that would have been better for the Dallas Cowboys.
Here's the next question I've got. Can a football player be trained to play in a couple different positions? I know they do that with baseball, but I don't know how workable that is with football.
With football, it would be extremely difficult. mainly because of the size difference, right? Like he's about 6'6", 315 pounds. That's not someone that you would be able to put as a running back, a tight end, anything else like that. So he's kind of stuck in his position. He might be able to move to being a center, to being a tackle, something like that. We've got to see how he is on his feet. But again, it's not a terrible pick from the Cowboys, just a little disappointing. I'm glad to see he's happy, though. Like you said, it was a dream come true to be drafted by the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, he's sure dancing.
I was saying, judging by a celebration, he is pretty light on his feet for being a big fat guy.
That's funny. And he's in pretty good shape. He's running down that long corridor.
I would say quickly jogging.
Right. That's a more accurate description. I get it.
Because if that's the way he runs, I'm not going to be happy about it.
There you go. Yeah, it's not boxing. Muhammad Ali is the only one who can say, I'm going to fly like a butterfly and sting like a bee.
I agree 110%.
Or maybe a quarterback will have to do that if he doesn't have the protection of a line.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be able to move and do all that stuff, but if the Dallas Cowboys are investing this type of pick into the offensive line, then unfortunately for Booker, he's got to be able to step up and be that transcendent type offensive player.
For their sake, I hope he is.
As do I.
Yeah.
As do I. The Dallas Cowboys are they're putting a lot of pressure. Like, you can already tell by the reaction. El Paso is obviously going to be more of a Cowboys-heavy crowd. You can tell by the reaction that the crowd was not happy with the pick.
And you mentioned this was a business. I mean, if the Cowboys don't do that well, then, an appearance by a Dallas Cowboys player would draw less attendance to a bar or a restaurant that he may appear at. So it hurts the local businesses when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's the trickle-down effect, right? We talk about trickle-down economics from the 1980s. That would be the trickle-down effect.
Yeah.
If your team ain't good, then whenever they make public appearances, it's not a good thing.
Right. Unless they can get merch for the cheap. I don't know.
And merch is never cheap. We both know that.
That's true.
Despite the fact that the place you get it from can make it cheap.
Yeah.
And you could feel the air got let out of this room whenever that draft pick was made by the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
The last time I felt something like that or surrounding the Dallas Cowboys was at Texas or at Cowboys Stadium for a Thanksgiving Day game whenever they were playing the Carolina Panthers. And Tony Romo broke his collarbone for the second time that season. You knew the season was done.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just feel 110,000 people deflate in that exact moment. And that's exactly what it felt like here in Twin Peaks right now. The vibe is picking back up, though. As we inch closer and closer to find out what the next pick is, the Miami Dolphins, they have their pick in. We are almost halfway through the NFL draft. Tommy Kanontok going through the emotions. I would just leave him at guard. Talking about Booker, who was just drafted right now. We do need one with Martin's retirement. We both like Brock Hoffman. I showed and TJ Bass showed out a little bit last season. It just wasn't a major need. He also thought Tyler Swift was a reach, to be fair, and he turned out to be an all-pro. So, shows how much we know. The Miami Dolphins on the pick right now is in. They select Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. Once again, y'all told me earlier in the show, whenever I did the tipping point with Mike Tipton, that was a boring draft. I told you. It is a defensive line heavy first round, second round. Kenneth Grant, to me, that's a good pick. You're able to help out your interior defense, and that's what you need in order to stop teams that have a decent running game in Buffalo, in the New York Jets, the teams that are in your division. I like that pick. It's not a huge pickup. It's a solid pickup. It's a pickup for what they needed, the Miami Dolphins. And Kenneth Grant, once again, just a big, beefy man, ready to get in the trenches and slap beef against other big, beefy men. Tommy Carranza saying that he wanted a skill player for the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't think at any point, like I thought the rumors of Tet and the rumors of Ashton Genty were vastly overplayed. I didn't think the Dallas Cowboys were going to get a skill player to begin with. I thought it would be defensive line, maybe even linebacker. I wasn't expecting offensive linemen. And if you did get offensive linemen, I think what happened is Kelvin Banks Jr. was taken just ahead of him. And that's who they must have had, on their board. You get the kid from Austin, Texas. You get him. And, he was on a national championship contending team. Alabama, obviously consistently in the national championship contending conversation. However, it just feels underwhelming for the Dallas Cowboys at that position. And again, that's us. That's us as fans. That's us as pundits, that people that get to talk about this stuff and have ourselves a fun time. We're the ones that control the narrative. And I told you all at the beginning of today, whenever I did my first mock draft, my mock draft 1.0, that I thought in no way was this going to be a sexy NFL draft. It's a bunch of big, beefy men. If you like big, beefy men, then of course you think it's sexy. You okay, Dave?
Yeah.
All right. If you look at the draft right now, the majority of the picks have been on defense. Tommy Carranza saying he was coached by Saban for a couple of years, so that's a plus. And that's the thing, right? There's a pedigree at Alabama that you kind of expect greatness. So maybe that's going to be something that helps him. Tyler Warren drafted by the Colts. That's a big pickup for the Colts. Again, it doesn't matter who you have at quarterback. If it's Daniel Jones, if it's Anthony Richardson, that means now they have themselves a security blanket, the best tight end in the draft. The Chicago Bears are going to have to, the Bears fans are going to keep their eye on this guy, Tyler Warren. You got to love that they cut to him in his room, in his family room, and there was zero emotion happening in there as he was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. But you can look at the route running right there, wide open. He knows he's open, goes up, makes the grab. Right? That's one of the things that you like to see for a draft pick, Tyler Warren. That was a great one-handed grab that they showed right there as well. And being out of Penn State, you got to be able to block. You got to be able to be physical. And you can see right there in a lot of these, he is physical. He is a little gimmicky as well, which is why I thought the Saints would take him at one point in time. You needed to have yourself a tight end to replace who you have at tight end right now as they're getting older in age. You can see he's got some zip on the ball whenever he throws it as well. And I thought that he could have fit in perfectly, absolutely perfectly, taking over for Taysom Hill. An uber athletic tight end. And the Indianapolis Colts just gave themselves a huge addition to their team. Tommy Carranza convincing himself that this was a good pickup, saying Alabama does turn out a lot of good offensive linemen. The more Tommy talks, the more it feels like he's starting to come around on the pickup of Booker, the draft pick for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going back into the draft. So they had Tyler Booker going 28 overall. Tyler Booker going 28 overall in the NFL draft. The Dallas Cowboys drafting him at 12, so it's a bit of a reach. Tyler Warren being drafted. You can see finally now they cut to the family showing a little bit of emotion. Some people were excited. His high school alma mater, the kids there are extremely excited as well. The Indianapolis Colts have to be glad that the Bears did take Loveland that early in the draft. The Atlanta Falcons on the clock right now, 4.5 minutes till their pick is coming in. It's going to be interesting to watch all that. I think we'll go a couple more picks and then we'll call this live, David. What do you think?
Yep.
Hey, yes, please. Get me out of here.
No.
I'm joking.
Well, we got to read the crowd. You know, if the crowd is not as excited as the kids were on TV, that tells us something.
Tommy Cadonza saying, I don't hate the pick. I just would have went a different route. And that's the thing, right? Is I think the Cowboys could have traded back. I genuinely think, but that's also the thing that has to come out here, right? Like trades are two-way streets. We can say, okay, the Cowboys should have done this. The Cowboys might have done this, whatever. The fact of the matter is that the Cowboys probably did try to trade back, did try to do something as soon as they saw one of their guys wasn't available. Nobody wanted to make that trade because, again, this draft doesn't have a ton of superstars in it. It doesn't have a ton of huge, big-name guys. Like, once you got past Travis Hunter, the rest of it was just a bunch of, oh, okay, those are some pretty decent guys, a lot of projects in this NFL draft. That's what I think is ultimately hurting this draft for the Dallas Cowboys. Tommy Canonzo saying the Cowboys reached for Travis Frederick, Tyler Smith, and Zach Martin too. So who knows? And that's the thing, right? Like, he could be, ultimately at the end of the day, he could be a Hall of Fame offensive lineman, and I'm just a jerk. But I'm willing to bet on that. And if I am a jerk, I'll admit that I'm wrong because I do that from time to time.
But part of it, as you explained to me, was that the order for when the Cowboys could make a trade was set in stone based on their ranking for the season.
No, so the order that they pick is set in stone. Now you can trade that pick anytime you want, but the other teams have to be willing to dance with you, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay.
So you can say, hey, I'd like to trade up with you or I'd like to trade back for you, but it's not necessarily your decision. It's a two-way street.
I got it.
Yeah.
So what happens? Does Roger Goodell do anything when the teams trade with each other or not?
No, it gets pushed through to the NFL. The NFL says, all right, cool, you guys want to make that trade? Go ahead and make that trade.
The backdoor deals that we won't see covered on TV.
100%. There's a great movie called Draft Day
Oh, yeah.
that Kevin Costner's.
Yes, I remember that film.
And
Kevin wanted to pick the team and win the way he wanted to win. I remember how much time he spent in the war room. And that whomever he was bargaining would constantly say, oh, come on, man, you know it's a good deal. What's holding up?
And there's a part of me that feels like that is how it kind of goes, but
Right.
obviously dramatic for dramatic purposes. But I want it to be that way, like where you're constantly just at one another.
Sure. And I think Kevin Bacon was his assistant coach, and Kevin was trying to train somebody good enough so that Kevin wouldn't have to pull the player that he always wanted to trade.
Tommy Canonzo saying, man up, Mike, there's still a lot of picks left. Okay, Tommy. If you're going to hang out here with me the whole time, then I'll find a way to man up. David, you can leave anytime you wish.
Okay.
But, man, this draft, you can feel it, right? Like, I'm not the only one feeling this. The air was let out. There was a mass exodus of people.
It's a strange draft. That's what prompted all of the questions that I had. And if it didn't go the way I expected, and it certainly didn't go the way you expected, we're in another universe. Well, if you can just peel off the tape that I put in just one fell swoop, and that's the only hard thing about it.
Excellent. I got you, Dave.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you coming out here, doing your thing, helping me out. You are an amazing friend, an amazing person, and as always, Dave, you know I got nothing but love for you, buddy.
Thank you. I'm going to settle up on the bill.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Jalen Walker, less than a 1% chance that he would be available right now at number 15 to the Atlanta Falcons. A less than 1% chance that he would be available to the Atlanta Falcons. And yet, here he is. You kind of feel like the Falcons have to go this way, right? Like, maybe you don't need help on offense. You got a lot of offensive players with the Atlanta Falcons. So to me, like, you don't necessarily need a ton. Maybe they go interior offensive lineman. Like, maybe I could see right here is where Gray Zabel might be taken. The more that I look at how cold people are in Green Bay, the happier I am that the NFL rejected me this year from the NFL draft, because it does look freezing out there. Also, Green Bay fans, you need to lay off the cheese. Yes, I know it takes one to know one. Fat guy knowing another fat guy. Got to turn up the exposure once again. There we go. That way it's a little easier to see me. I apologize, everyone. I agree. If Jalen Walker is here, let's be honest. Whoever drafts Jalen Walker, they got themselves a steal. He was not anticipated, expected to be in this position right now. I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, if Jalen Walker is not drafted right now. There we go. Thankfully for him, the Dallas Cowboys messed that up. Vidal Reyes saying, hey, Green Bay fan here. I meant for the people that were on TV in attendance over in Green Bay. You got to love having the one little guy in the background with the iPad recording. Barely get the hat over the fro, so that's a good thing for him. But the Atlanta Falcons, they got themselves a steal right here. That's a huge. Tommy Cananza giving his thoughts on Green Bay fans. I don't know if I can agree with that. Say every fan's base. That's not the Cowboys. We can agree on that. Every fan base that's not the Cowboys has some people that genuinely just suck. Tommy Cananza, we're not on Roku, so I don't have to be so nice. Saying that they suck his happy nuts. And you too can also have happy nuts just like Tommy Cananza by visiting www.myhappynuts.com/MikeTipton. Save on all of your male grooming needs using that promo code myhappynuts.com/MikeTipton. Are you drunk right now, Tommy? Is that where all this animus is coming from? No, you're at work. There's no way you can be drunk. I just picture you there in your hoochie daddy shorts, having yourself a good old time. Shout out to our friends over here at Twin Peaks, hooking us up. Tommy Cananza saying he just got off work. He's headed on his way home. If only there was a place that you would be able to hang out for just a couple of minutes and watch the NFL draft. I would say that place is called Twin Peaks over here at the Fountains at Faro. I know what the next excuse is going to be. I live in the Northeast or something like that. Mireya Reyes saying they might suck, but they are not delusional, rationalizing a bad pick. I would say they are. I think every team rationalizes a bad pick. Once again, the NFL draft is made for optimism, for hope. That's what this is. You're trafficking in hope. Tommy Cananza saying, I like my eyes. My wife would cut them out if I went to Twin Peaks. It's not that bad. Like, it genuinely isn't. I guess it has like a bad reputation, maybe? Is that what it is? At 16, the Arizona Cardinals have the pick in. Let's see what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do here. Mel Kiper Jr. doing a lot of talking right now. Talking about the pick for the Arizona Cardinals. I need to work on doing an impression of Mel Kiper Jr. I could be Mike Kiper Jr. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to have to adjust the lighting in here. It got very dark all of a sudden. The green room cam built by Lowe's. I always feel bad whenever the guys that make it to the draft are there for so long. Mireya Reyes saying, of course it's not a bad place. It's in the name. Tommy Cananza saying, you know I'm kidding, Mike. If you got to go, I understand, brother. No, that's going to happen. I think I'll probably do that at about 20. That was going to be the goal anyway. I was just going to do it at about 20. Mainly because I didn't want to be here for the Philadelphia Eagles draft pick. As we saw earlier today, I have them drafting a punter because they are the Philadelphia Eagles. The Arizona Cardinals are on the clock right now. And the Arizona Cardinals draft Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, helping out the defensive line. I got so many picks wrong in this draft. I will hold on to my 3 that I got right. A lot of question marks in this year's NFL draft. Eagles fans suck worse even than Green Bay fans. Even worse than Green Bay fans, said Tommy Cananza. I think we can all agree on that. If there's a team that we can all hate, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. And mutual hate brings people together so much tighter than mutual love does. That's what this world needs now, is hate, more hate. For specific fan bases. The Philadelphia Eagles might be that fan base. As the Cincinnati Bengals, number 17, are on the clock right now. Walter Nolan, the big guy, out of Ole Miss. I just realized at that position, you guys can see straight up my nose. Not a good look for anybody. I do like the vibe right now. No, it was not the Bengals that drafted Nolan. It was the Arizona Cardinals that drafted Walter Nolan. And that's a big pick for them. A big pickup for them. Once again, that's what they need. That's a team that, even though they're solid, they have a lot of needs that they need, and it's along the defensive line. So I like the pickup of Walter Nolan going over to Arizona with the Cardinals. again, not a sexy pick. This draft wasn't going to have a ton of sexy picks. There's not, those big names that you can think of. The Bengals on the clock right now. Tommy Canazzo wondering who's going to pick up Mike Green. If I'm not mistaken, I had Mike Green going. Let me see where I had him at. I had him going 19 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But as we know, I have been very wrong. Very wrong in this year's NFL draft. I would have thought we'd seen more trades by now. We've only seen the one. Once again, the Cleveland Browns moving down 3 spots, but gaining so much in draft capital from the Jacksonville Jaguars, who traded up to number 2 in order to draft Travis Hunter. He's going to play both sides of the field. That's what he said he wanted to do. Tommy Canazzo saying there's still a lot of good players out there. You still got Barron, you got Malachi Starks, Will Johnson. There are still a ton of good players out there. But again, defense doesn't necessarily translate to sexy, right? And I think that's what everyone wants, is they want a ton of offensive players. Sorry, y'all. Going to some messages that are happening here on the social medias. Tommy Canazzo saying, I would have taken those guys rather than taking a damn guard. He's back. He is back. Hating. Doing what he does best. Hate. The Bengals have their pick in. We will be here for the next 4 picks, and then I think it's going to be time to go. We'll see you all later. Catch you later. Thank you, sir. Goodbye. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Able to bring out a tiny crowd today. Remember, we're going to be live on Saturday over at Buffalo Wild Wings for Fire and Ice, Sans Ice. Brandon the Iceman Cohn will not be there, but I will be there. Recapping day 2 of the NFL draft. We have NBA playoff stuff that we're going to be talking about. I'll have my guy Augustine Pimentel joining me tomorrow morning on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. Let's see who the Bengals are picking right here. Took a while to get back into focus. Roger Goodell walking over to the stage, stopped, made a dumb face, doing what he does best. Tommy Canazzo saying Golden, Burden. Come on, we took a guard. Not hating on Booker, though. Not hating on Booker. He's trying to walk it back. Not hating on him. Kind of hating on him, but not hating on him. The Bengals selecting Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M. I believe I got that one correct. That might be number 4. We might have gotten 4 of them right, guys. Gonna have to look at my banner, see what we got. And I did have the Bengals taking Shamar Stewart. Look at me, finally getting something right. Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M. Once again, that's a big pickup for the Cincinnati Bengals because that's going to allow them to get help on defense. They have a dynamic offense. They didn't need to really do much on offense. Maybe depth in the later rounds along the offensive line, but you have a pretty solid run game. You have 2 of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Obviously, if you are the Cincinnati Bengals, your biggest issue this year was on defense. Now what you've done is you've shored up your defensive line. Shamar Stewart being there, that's a huge pickup for them. At number 18, I have the Seattle Seahawks. And if I'm not mistaken, I have them taking Josh Smith. I got to see what it is. Yeah, there we go. Josh Simmons, rather. I got the name wrong. Josh Simmons, the offensive lineman out of Ohio State. Shamar Stewart almost ran through Roger Goodell. I love how Tommy Cananza is still not hating on the pick of the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Booker, the offensive guard out of Alabama. Again, I think it's a big pickup. Shamar Stewart being picked up by the Cincinnati Bengals. So we have 4 out of 18. Man, we're not batting very well. I can't think of that percentage off the top of my head, so I'm going to have to go to my calculator. We're batting .222. Not good at all. Let's see if we can get a little hot streak going right here because, like I said, the Seattle Seahawks, they have their pick in right now. I have them taking Josh Simmons, the offensive lineman out of Ohio State University. I think that's something that's going to help them out. Once again, you gave so much money to Sam Darnold that you have to protect that investment. He's not as old as Kirk Cousins, so maybe that's what makes it a little more difficult to move away from him. But it's difficult for me to think that there's a scenario out there where you draft Shedeur Sanders right here if you're the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers sticking where they were, knowing that Shedeur Sanders was going to be available to them at number 21, that's really what helps them out. I don't see a scenario here where the Seahawks draft Shedeur Sanders. The pick is in right now. You can see Roger Goodell waddling his way up to this podium. The Seahawks, the second best team in the NFC West, following the Los Angeles Rams. Shedeur Sanders being listed as Mel Kiper Jr.'s best available right now. Again, I do not see that scenario. I don't see that scenario, guys. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going right here at 18 to the Seattle Seahawks. They went offensive line with Gray Zabel. Should have known if he was going to be available because the Dallas Cowboys had a reach that's who would be taken. I had him as one of the better offensive linemen out of North Dakota State as well. You can see it right there. I had him being drafted a couple of picks earlier by the Arizona Cardinals. So then that means Simmons is going to be able to fall down. And I think Simmons would more than likely be picked up by Denver since Colson Loveland was drafted earlier in the draft. So I could see a scenario where Denver picks up Josh Simmons at number 20. I wish I could have made some changes to my draft. So we're batting 222 right now, guys. Let's see if we can get Mike Green to Tampa Bay. Help out my percentage just a little bit. I'd get up to 263 if we could get Mike Green to Tampa Bay. Still don't have a ton of faith in it, but let's see if we can make it happen. Six and a half minutes for Tampa Bay to make their selection. We're going up to number 20. That's all we're doing. We're going up to number 20. Once we're done with that, I might get myself an adult beverage, pack up, and then go home. I'll probably wait for the rest of the NFL draft. Shout out to those of you that have tuned in throughout the show. I know the numbers are going to fluctuate. It's a Thursday night. People got things they need to do. So I appreciate whenever people do tune in and watch the show with me. Keeping me company. Midea Reyes saying 21. You want me to stick to number 21? What, for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't know about all that. You can see the mass exodus of people behind me. The lighting does look halfway decent, though. I will say that. I consolidated my setup here, so it makes me feel better. I know that I would be able to do a setup like this at other places. Trying to get the tipping point to be able to go live at different places. Obviously, the show at 8 o'clock in the morning, I don't think that one's going to be going live anywhere other than my house, guys. I'm waiting to see if the pick comes in because the clock stopped on the Buccaneers at 4:55, but that was about 3 minutes ago. So I'm waiting to see if they had the pick in as we got a Panera Bread commercial and now another commercial. I guess that's Chime. Tommy Cananza saying you did pretty good, Mike. You almost got all of the first round picks so far. Has anyone taken someone you didn't mention? No, they haven't. Once again, actually Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker was the only one that I hadn't mentioned being drafted that early. At least I don't think that I had him mentioned as someone that was going to be drafted that early because I did have a couple of reaches. Like Luther Birding, I had him getting looked at. Tyler Booker I had going to the Chiefs. So I did have him in the first round. I'm looking right now. All the names have been right. They've just been in the wrong place. So that's the issue that I have. All the names have been right. They've just been in the wrong place. And a lot of that could be that first trade that happened. And some of them drafted, a position ahead of everyone else. So there are two big reaches on my draft board right now. And the biggest reach is Colston Loveland. And then Tyler Booker, because I had Tyler Booker going number 31 overall to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Dallas Cowboys draft him at number 12. So that right there was the biggest reach. The Bears drafting Colston Loveland at 10. That's 10 spots higher than where I had him going, which was number 20 to the Denver Broncos. Shedeur Sanders is more than likely going to go number 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. There was a 7% chance that Shedeur Sanders would be available to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shedeur Sanders, the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. We are now on pick number 19. This is where I had Mike Green. Mike Green being drafted. The Crooked Commish saying, I'm back, baby. I am glad to have you back, Crooked Commish. A lot of action has gone on. Right now we are at pick number 19. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have Mike Green going here to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If we were able to get this one, I would be 5 out of 19. That would give me to 263, baby. 263. I'm not a Hall of Famer, but I'm a first baseman. Oh, wow. That's a weird one. Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. I don't think anybody had Emeka Egbuka being drafted in the first round. Not this high. Maybe towards the end of the first round. So there you go, Tommy. That's the first name that someone has said that I haven't said was a first round pick. Emeka Egbuka. I did not think that he would be picked over Luther Burden, over Matthew Golden. That's so strange to me. So strange to me why you would go with that one. That was a stretch. I know Tommy Cananza saying that he thinks that Emeka Egbuka was the second best wide receiver in this draft. I don't know about that, man. I still think the second best wide receiver in this draft was Matthew Golden. Like, it was honestly Ted McMillan and then Matthew Golden, in my opinion, at least. Tommy Cananza saying you missed my roller coaster of emotions after the Cowboys picked Tyler Booker, Commish. The Commish is letting us know that Sanders is going to fall to Pittsburgh. I mean, it's kind of what I felt like there was going to be a scenario there where it happened, where you could say that Shedeur Sanders would fall to Pittsburgh, but I thought Pittsburgh was going to trade up, and I thought that trade might happen with the Dallas Cowboys. But as soon as you saw that the Saints skipped on Shedeur Sanders, you knew that he wasn't going to be drafted in the next picks. That he was going to be there available at 21 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's exactly the way that this is playing out. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, the bet that you made is paying out. It's paying off. The Denver Broncos, I had them drafting Colston Loveland here. Emeka Egbuka being drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I can see why they did that. They do need to look to the future. How long is Mike Evans going to be able to be available for you? Tommy Cananza saying that he thought it was Ted McMillan first, Emeka Egbuka, then Matthew Golden, then Luther Burden. Luther Burden being number 4. And see, with me, I had it switched up. I had Ted, I had Matthew Golden, I had Luther Burden, and then I had Emeka Egbuka. Tommy Cananza hitting the nail right on the head, hearing that Shedeur Sanders had issues with character and immaturity. And I think that was, even though I had him being selected number 6 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders, I felt like that would kind of creep its head up, right? Like if you're immature, if you're an immature guy, you can't live in Las Vegas. Like you just can't. Look at what happened to Harry Ruggs, right? You can't live out there with all that stuff. And I know this is a conversation that we've had before of like, oh well, the team needs to basically hold the players' hands if it's an investment this way, blah blah blah. It's not the team's job to make sure that you are mentally, physically, emotionally mature to do what it takes to be in the NFL. And that seems to be the issue that a lot of people are having with Shedeur Sanders. And it would be a very damning thing if the Pittsburgh Steelers have Shedeur Sanders there at 21 and they take someone like a Jackson Dart, because Jackson Dart's an early second-round pick. 21 to the early second round, that's not that much of a stretch. So it would be damning, because we did see how many times did Shedeur Sanders have meetings with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tommy Canazzo apologizing for the misspelling and saying the stupid text-to-talk thing doesn't work. Trust me, I know all about that. It never works for me. It has never worked for me. But it's also because I have a weird voice. The Denver Broncos on the clock right now, 1.5 minutes before they get their pick in. Shedeur Sanders being looked at as the best overall right now on Mel Kiper Jr.'s draft board. It's going to be safe to say that the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix are not going to draft Shedeur Sanders. They're picking right now in number 20. This will be our last pick that we do here on this draft watch party that we were doing. I appreciate the people that did come out and join me here on the draft watch party. It was a fun time. Those of you that tuned in to watch as well, I always appreciate your time and support. That means more to me than you ever know. Recapping the first round right now, we had Cam Ward go number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. Travis Hunter going number 2 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars after the Jaguars trade the number 5, number 36, and number 136 pick to the Cleveland Browns. Number 3 was Abdul Carter. Number 4 was Will Campbell, the offensive lineman out of LSU. Mason Graham going number 5. Ashton Jeanty going number 6 overall. Armand Membo, the offensive tackle out of Missouri, going to the New York Jets. Tet McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona, going to the Carolina Panthers. That's a huge pickup for the Carolina Panthers. Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive lineman, going to the New Orleans Saints. This is what really messed up a lot of the draft. Colston Loveland being drafted number 10 overall by the Chicago Bears out of Michigan. Michael Williams, 1 spot ahead of where I had him going. The San Francisco 49ers, the Cowboys take Tyler Booker, the guard out of Alabama as well. That right there, the top 12. Kenneth Grant being drafted by the Miami Dolphins. Tyler Warren being drafted by the Colts. Warren being drafted after Colston Loveland. Really kind of made you think about some things. Matthew Golden still in the green room in Green Bay. Tommy Cananza asking, could Amarian Hampton be drafted here? Amarian Hampton be drafted here. They did just lose Javonte Williams. I could see that scenario playing out. Once again, though, I think if you are the Denver Broncos, offensive line protecting Will Levis is kind of what you need right here. Maybe you go defense as well. Drafting a running back, though, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, why not? Omarion Hampton would be a good pickup right here. I have Mike Green going now. Maybe even Josh Simmons. The NFL draft. Making a Make-A-Wish dream come true. Always love whenever they get to do these things. Okay, so that's a little bit of a curveball. Jahdae Barron going to the Denver Broncos. They went defense. I mean, that's really good. Teaming him up with Patrick Surtain as well. Man, the Broncos are going to have a hell of a secondary, and I guess that's what you kind of need if you're going up against some high-powered offenses, right? Like, especially if you got Kansas City there. And Tommy, the Cricket Committee saying that they took the best cornerback in the NFL draft. That's a huge pickup for the Denver Broncos. I like that pickup. I questioned it whenever I first saw it, but now that I'm talking it through, I like that pickup for the Denver Broncos, guys. Man, a part of me wants to finish the whole draft out, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, guys. The light's bothering me. I'm getting a bit of a migraine. It's all good, though. But you know what? I appreciate you for being a part of the Tipping Point special NFL draft watch party. The people that came out, Ashley Candelaria, her family, David Halprin, a few other people that came out here to be a part of the show as well. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Those of you that were watching on the live stream, I appreciate it so much as well. And then once again, the Cricket Commission saying pairing Jahdae Barron with Patrick Surtain is going to be big. That's huge. You don't even have to step in and be number one overall. Like, you can step in and just be a guy. That's going to be huge for the Denver Broncos. Tommy Kanatsa saying, nice. Jahdae Barron got the Denver Broncos got themselves a cornerback. Yeah, they did. They sure did. You have Surtain, you have Barron. It's going to be hard to pass on the Denver Broncos. That's a great pickup by the Denver Broncos. All right, everybody, once again, I appreciate you for being a part of today's show. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early for the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. We'll be live once again, 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll have NFL Draft recap. We'll be talking about that. Did your team do what you thought your team was going to do? I know mine and Tommy's answer to that. What's your answer to that? It's okay, Tommy. I get the talk to text. I totally get it. It's all good. Woosah. Go ahead, have yourself a nightcap. Tell the family I said hi, and we will see you all tomorrow for the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. I appreciate y'all tuning in to the special edition of the NFL Draft live watch party that we were doing over here at Twin Peaks. Remember, come check out all the specials they have at Twin Peaks. As a matter of fact, they have a daily happy hour Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then it comes back once again from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. If you work that late night shift, you know where to come. For all of the industry workers, where's the best place to go to get yourself a drink late at night? You don't want to be at the place you work at? Come over here to Twin Peaks, and they've got your back. All right, everybody. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early.